the lag. I'm trying a new app out, seeing how it's going. So we got the 75 here. I moved some plants in here, but these couple convicts that are left in here keep tearing them up. I'm not so much worried about the angel or the other fish. Got the Bosemani rainbows right there. Turbo Fish says, hi, bye, at work, buddy. Alright, thanks for stopping in, Turbo. Got the Australian rainbows right there. Got some super reds. Looks like 2 females right there. Then you got the 3 the yellow glow light tetras and 1 pink one in this tank. And like I said, there's only 2 convicts left in this tank that I couldn't catch out. Of course, I just woke this tank up and I got 1 bala shark in here. I used to have 2, but 1 died due to convicts. Mean little pricks. What's up, Matt DLR? Sorry again, guys, for not streaming it. Once Bob's stream was over, I ended up falling asleep. No big deal. Shit happens, I'll put this back. Molly says, hi, don't mind my closet. Like I said, I've been cleaning. I actually went through that whole closet and cleaned. I kind of threw the stuff back in. So yeah, that's what's going on. Matt DLR says hello. Fish Tropic says thumbs up. Tropical. Matt. Now this doesn't tell me how many live streams. So did you lose plecos? Yes, I did. Let me flip this around. I only have 4 super red plecos in here. 2 males, 2 females. I had I want to say 10 females and 3 or 4 males. So, I would say 90% of the stuff I lost. I did have little juvie super reds that were smaller, an inch or 2, but with me only just doing top offs and not really paying attention to the tank, I lost them, unfortunately. This because I was just doing fill-ups. I was too busy with work and other shit that I'm not going to talk to you about on this stream because I want to keep it positive. So, let's see. I got an albino chocolate pleco in this cave. There is a male super red pleco in that one. And then and a male super reds in that cave too, since they're pretty small. Got the common pleco right there, or the hyphen. I think it's a common my parents picked up again when they were told it was something different, probably from friggin' PetSmart or whatever, or Petco, locally to them before, a few months before leaving, or 6 months before moving to Delaware. I told them, make sure it's not a common one, get a small one. So we got 1 convict left, 2 convicts. Looks like they might be protecting fry. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get a needle point pen worth of those little fishies. What size is this tank? This is a 75. Once again, the fish have knocked that damn thing off. I don't know. I keep putting it back every day. So that's one of the females right there. That's another female that's breeding age. I think this juvenile's almost breeding age. So my goal is to get the other 2 convicts out of here. The bala shark hasn't messed with anything. I don't ever see it go after fish. And the rainbows, when I had the super red babies and stuff, left them alone. Oh, maybe there is a couple little juvie convicts in here that I didn't see that was hiding. So, stuck. Sorry. Hey, it's Bob Steenfott. Let's see. I answered that. Fish Tropic says you need to split them up into their own tens. Yeah, I will. And there's the Eclipse Catfish that came out. Surprising. I hardly ever see that guy. Normally he's in this. Or hiding. But since I turned the lights on, I probably spooked him. That angelfish really doesn't bother anyone. And what the heck is that? Whatever. I don't know. This is kind of a blank slate right now. I took stuff out earlier and moved it into other tanks because I was tired of getting it uprooted, and I chalked that up to the convicts that are still in here. Yeah. No joke, that's the longest that sword plant's been able to stay in there. Upside DIY, hey, is Bob Steenfot, yep. Upside DIY says, my duckweed red blue bulbs looks cool. Yep. That's cool. Like, no joke, I planted this thing so many times, this big kind of like looking Anubias thing, like, and stuck it under the wood and glued it there. Somehow, some way, the fish end up working it off. I don't know, I want to say that was the last couple convicts. So, let's see, the Eclipse catfish you probably can't see is hiding right there because it's focusing on my finger. Let me see if I can't zoom in. Nope, this app won't let me zoom in. Oh well. I want to redo my 75, but I don't feel like losing money. Believe it or not, I have 3 boxes of what is it? I'll go show you. What the hell? I think I got about 16 feet on this cord. So, Carib Sea, the Eco Complete. I got 3 fresh boxes of the 20 pounds that's chilling right there. Don't mind the mess. This is kind of a catch-all for right now. As you can see, this is where the tote used to be. That's just temporarily there. I forgot to wipe off that shelf. There's the African cichlid tank. The 55. I just got a temporary light on it. I did turn on all the tanks. Just cause. Except for this one. I forgot. Probably for the better. So you can see the big Texas hiding in the back. Sorry I can't zoom in. I got one big yellow lab in there, and I can't remember the rest, to be honest with you. I got like I said, I got some big cherry red shrimp in there, some in the Nook tank right there, about 4 or 5 snowball shrimp, and I think a couple blue velvets. Then these 2 tanks are like guppy tanks. Sorry, it keeps focusing on my finger for some reason. So, in these guppy tanks, I got Naha grass, Java moss, Java fern, bunch of fancy guppies, all different types, males, females, didn't really care, but I am going to split them. These 2 tanks will be up and running tomorrow with heaters on them. I got 2 200 or 300 watt heaters right there that are going to be overkill. So I'm going to see where, well, I got one 10 watt. Actually, Jason, before I had some family issues, I had 3 or 4 orders from Get Gills that I couldn't do because I was out of state at the time. And then I came back to a mess of my super red babies being gone and stuff like that. I had an order for what was it? I want to say a pack of 5 super red plecos, like Juvies 1 inch, which I did have. 5 or 10 pack, I think. And then I had an order for like a 20 pack or 2 10 packs, or 2 5. I can't remember. I had 4 different orders. And I just haven't turned the Get Gills back on to say what I have for stock. Look at that. There's 3 of them now. 4 of them. Damn it. They all hit on me. So no, I had orders, so no. Ultimately, no, I didn't sell anything. I might contact those people, but they probably already filled their orders. This was like 2 or 3 months ago. I might see if someone locally on Facebook wants these convicts, just to get rid of them. I mean, they're cool. I mean, if I was just doing a species-only convict tank, that would be different. But I guess they're looking at me because I was in this tank earlier. They know me trying to fish these guys out was a pain in the ass. I literally took everything, put it to one side of the tank, and put 2 of these sheets in earlier today to keep them blocked off so they couldn't get at all the plecos and stuff to hide. And I still couldn't catch the little guys. Put them in the Oscar tank. I did that. That's why there's no convicts left. And the 2 or 3 convicts that were living after the first night, I threw the convicts into the African cichlid tank. Only one's left, and it's hiding behind like one of these sponge filters in the 55 African cichlid tank. So those convicts don't last when I throw them in the Oscar tank. Not that I'm trying to be mean, but I would rather give them to someone that wants them instead of just letting them become prey. Let's see. What else? I don't know. This tank hasn't changed much. I gotta get rid of some of that floating food, but that's good if it sinks for the catfish, but that's way too much food for it. I had some stuff, older stuff, that was gonna expire, so I just let it soak for a while and put it in there. Like older turtle food. Fish Tropic said, but the Oscar does want them. Yes, I know. But the other fish, there's 3 big Oscars now. They don't last. Even if I throw them in with the lights off, all I hear is splashing and splashing and thumping around in the tank. Hold on. I missed one of my Australian rainbows. That is weird. See the eclipse catfish? That guy's like 3 times the size he used to be. And no, that I don't think that eclipse catfish would try and get in the pleco caves and eat them, because the plecos will stand guard right at the front. As you can see, this big pleco right there. Look at this guy, kind of vicious right now. I wanted a catfish. I got one, all right. Clean food with your fish. Yep. Well, it was turtle food that was gonna expire that I had when I got turtles like a year when I moved in or something, and I was pushing dates a little bit, but you gotta figure in the wild they're gonna find that stuff anyways, rotting food and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what these convicts were, Jason. They were feeders originally, and I wanted to save them, and I didn't know what I was going to do with this 75, so I threw them in here, and then they started getting big. I moved the Angel in here to get them out of the 25 bow front that's way over there, which that's the one I got to clean out because I don't want that big, well, not Java, but sword plant to die off. Plus, I got a couple big Anubias plants in there, but with all the guppy grass and Java moss, that's one thing I'm going to sell a lot of. Just get rid of it. I like the 2 sponge filters. Yeah, those are 20 gallons a piece sponge filters. That's what I have set up in the 55. Plus a hang-on back. I was originally going to move my Marine Line 220 in here and put it over here. Don't mind this mess. I was still dealing with stuff. And I was going to put it on this side of the tank and have 2 filters run this tank, plus the sponge filters, but I thought that would be overkill on flow. And then I was going to put this hang-on back, this Aqua Clear, on the 55 too. Sorry if I'm kind of bouncing around. So I'm trying to rehome those tetras the glow light tetras that used to be my parents'. I believe it or not, my landlord's ex-wife is looking for some fish, and she might be interested in, because her kids, they have a 29-gallon fish tank or something like that. She's supposed to send me pictures, and she has, I think, skirt-tailed tetras or something like that, smaller tetras, and 1 bigger fish that she's looking to rehome. So depending on what that is, I may have a new fish come that way, and I'll do a swap. But she wants some like fancy guppies. I might give her a pair of a male and a female super red pleco. I might just get new stuff in for super reds, or I will go online and find her some super reds. See that? Those little juvies. Now that's a male because I know they color up, but that's a little juvie in the corner, convict. Matt DLR says, if I redo my tank, I'm for sure doing some kind of predator. I just don't No, don't know which one I want. Yeah, just be careful because this was like a big community tank, and then it came back to bite me in the ass because I didn't get the convicts out of here quick enough. Not a big deal, but you live and learn, right? And I would say I'll play the fish catching game right now, which I may just do because I'm tired of looking at the convicts in this tank. Would you like to guys see me trying to fish some fish out of here? I mean, I did that last live stream. I was actually kind of successful with it, but not totally. Sorry, just cleaning this thing off. I think these guys know what's coming. Yeah, let me move that so that doesn't end up in the fish tank. Oh, like it's doing. Shit. It's one way to trip the power. I'm just gonna shut that off while it dries out. It's fun trying to do stuff one-handed. There, got it. Good. Let's see. 54 Punch, he says, hi Captain everyone. How you doing, 54? And eventually I'll get around to actually making good tops of this tank. So this is the big 6 foot or 7 foot long, I think it's 6 foot long LED light I picked up at the mom and pop store used, which I like. It grows plants quite well. It's like rated for 14,000 Kelvin or something like that. Plenty of light, plus the light I get from during the day from outside. Alright, so let's see. As you can see, I need to top this bad boy off. Yep, scared the plecos off here because I'm putting this back on the wall. They're not going to like me. There we go. So that's where it's supposed to be, up against there, but somehow, some ways, I think it's the plecos forcing it off, or bigger fish. And here's Molly doing her thing. Matt, cool, if you do, it's going to be some leaf fish, yep. So, I might actually have to remove the sponge filters because the convicts were trying to hide behind those the whole time, but I'm just going to go in here. And usually the fish babies honestly hung out in this wood. This big Mopani driftwood or whatever. Set that right there. Now I'm going to piss off all the inhabitants. But that's alright. Where did I put... There it is. See if I can't do this with one hand while you guys are watching. I don't want you guys... Get all the air bubbles out. See if I can't get this little juvie. Damn it, I let him free. I got the damn net where it's a pain in the ass. It's on itself. There we go. There's one. And I'm going to drop 200 reds really in it. Get those leaf fish eating, right? Alright. Be warned. Anyone that's watching this, if you don't want to see live fish get eaten, turn away. That's my one warning. Because there are Oscars in that tank, which will eat that convict quick and fast in a hurry. If the convict's lucky, they're sleeping. Alright. Now, make sure there's nothing hiding there. Well, I think there is something hiding in here, though. Yep, got a convict right there chilling in the pleco cave. So, lucky these are watertight because they're nice little caves. Holding with some tile or whatever. So, there's another convict in the tank. And there's the Oscar looking at him. Go ahead, eat it. Let's leave that cave out. Let me know if the stream's lagging, guys, because I don't know if it is or not when I'm moving around. Alright, so let's see. I'm not so much worried about a convict being in there, but let me check here because some of the convicts are so tiny. I just don't want to agitate if there is a little super red. Yep, there's a super red male in there. I don't know if you can see him. Wish I could turn the light on, but there's a super red in there, so I'm not going to dump that out. I'm just going to put that back in where it was. Yep, there's one of the males. Shush, Molly. And let's see what's in here. Oh, there's another little convict. Hi, the Cove, what's up? I'm just moving some convicts into my Oscar tank. There you go. And no, guys, I'm sure you're like, why are you just plopping and dropping these convicts? Because if they're going to hide in these caves, more power to them. Makes it real easy on me. So that's 2 out of the 4 that are left. Knock on wood. Hi, Anna. That angelfish is going to eat your fry. Yeah, just... I think the angelfish will get beat up if I put it in the 125. So... what I'm doing now is this, I'm getting the last couple convicts out of this tank. And not that I want to uproot this plant, but there's a convict chilling in this thing. Oh shit. There we go. I'm just going to do this. Did I get 2? Your pleco fry, though. Well, there. Got that convict. And I got the the little temp gauge that I just leave floating around in there that half the time gets knocked off. So I'll put that back in. So that's 3 out of the 4 convicts left out of the 20-something I pulled out of the tank. I'm sure in the morning those guys will be eating, though. You should go to the lake and get some ledge prices for that of rock and create structure. I will. I believe it or not, I have rock under my like round rock, like river rock and stuff that I got a while ago, probably a year ago. Still, that's sitting under my 125 that I'm going to put in the 55 to give it way more structure. I'm going to make this more of a naturescape. That way they got some places to hide. I really want to get the super reds breeding again. So last time I opened these up and there were convicts hiding. So let me just make sure. No convicts. Good. Now I know there's one of these guys in here. Get out. Come on, get out. Trying to be gentle with him. He doesn't want to come. I'm just trying to see under the light. Make sure. Yep, that's the non-albino pleco. I know I have some almond stuff. I don't want to mess around with these caves too much because look at that. Did I just get... what is that in there? Is that a... that looks like... oh, that was the catfish. I was like, it looked like the convict from the back, so. Alright, so it was hiding away from the light, so I'll put that one back. Now, I know there's one more convict. I sleep on 4 mattresses, new rock. Next time I go out, I'm going to pick up new rock. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of rock on the side of the roads if you just go look for it up here. Now, that convict, this catfish is not going to be happy with me when I move this. Alright, so it's just the pleco. I know I'm disturbing this whole tank right now, but I'm trying to make sure there's no convicts sitting. I saw 4 of them, so there's one in here. It's got to be the tiny little guy. Oh, there's one of the males, super reds right there. See him? Right next to my finger right here. And then you get the 2 females, and then there's another male in this cave right here. So 2 males, 2 females. You got the clipped catfish chilling underneath, which is going to run away. Alright. I guess I'm okay. Let me know if you guys see the convict in the chat. I gotta catch these minnows at the river. I have no clue what they are. I sleep on a cloud. Yeah, right? So, let's see. Let me just do some quick aquascaping. Make sure there's nothing in these things. This could be a little hideaway. I'll just put that back there. Clean this crap off. Sorry if I'm not showing you what I'm doing. I'm just taking the little debris that's getting caught up around this little thing. I don't really care with this fluval if this thing gets gummed up a little bit. Because I change the water so often. And I've cleaned this once since I set it up. Upside DY says you just should put them in a bucket. I was gonna do that, but then I'd have to clear out the buckets. My buckets are currently being used, and this is where my laziness is coming in. But yes, you're right. I 100% should do that. So let me try and get this Java moss. Java fern. I mean, no. What am I talking about? Anubias. Where do I want to put this? How about right in between these? Put that Anubias there. Grab this one. Now that I've stirred up this whole tank, let's see. Alright, I don't see. Maybe I was just misseeing things, but I could have sworn I saw 4 convicts left in here. There's one of the chocolate plecos I got. New England Endler. If you go at night, minnows will swim in groups to your flashlight shining in the water. That's true. I love up here to go to some of the rivers and lakes and get some natural minnows into the tanks. So let's see, got the eclipse catfish right there, which I think once he grows a little bit bigger, I'm going to move him into the 125 because he'll be more homey, because I'm sure that catfish will eat the babies if they're free as a quick snack. I don't know. Kind of catfish, that's an eclipse catfish. It'll get up to like 12 inches long. Pretty good size, 12 to 16. I figured for my 125. Yep, now it's going back in the cave. That's usually where it hangs out with the male super red, in that cave. Stirred up all that water. I like bigger fish, if you guys can't tell. And I know I got a big enough tank for them. Now, eventually, if I'm going to stay here for much longer, I know I've been saying this for months or whatever, everything right here is moving. I'm going to put a little indoor pond right there. And I'm going to move the Oscars out of this 125, put them in there. put the bigger fish from that tank into the pond, because I've had my enjoyment with them. I don't want to get rid of them. And go from there, you know? And make this into like a nature, what do you want to call it? Like a natural tank, you know, with natural big fish in it. Look at that hyphen over there. Look at how big he is. I got to get him into this tank. He's got to be approaching 12 inches in there. And that's what Molly pounds on, if you guys can see. That big hyphen. How's the puffer? The puffer is good. The puffer is getting fat and big. What you want to hear. Hold on. Let me see if I, hopefully I don't lose connection. That's the only tank I didn't turn on. And I haven't edited the video yet, so I don't want to really show you too much of this tank, but let me just turn to, if I can figure out where the damn thing is. Yes, I'm living dangerously, putting the laptop near this. Fine, slide up. Pain in my ass. This was the piece of wood that I was going to put over there in the tank. On top of the tank to hold that tote right there. Puffer Oscar, 6 of the rainbows, plecos. Nice collection. Yeah, plus I got shrimp. Bunch of snails, like mystery snails and probably pond snails and stuff like that. Don't mind that. I got to clean that. I'm only running these 2 corner filters in here. Plus I got the Java moss, Java fern, Naha grass in that tank. There is shrimp in this tank and in this tank, but it's just get fancy guppies. I do have one fancy guppy in this green hair algae tank that's somewheres. Probably bedded down for the night, maybe in the corner over there, but when the lights, this main light's on, you can see them. But you know what, before I do that, before I show you the puffer, let me turn this light on. And don't mind this side. This is the side that I don't care if it stays dirty. I don't really clean this side of the tank. So I moved this, like I said, I moved this 40 gallon sponge filter in here just to keep it seated. Took it out of the 55 just because the fish were kept on hooking it. That's the plants I got from the aquaculture aquaponic type tank, the 2 gallon I had. So that's a green severum. Here's one of the convicts that I just put in there. There might be quite a few convicts in here, actually, that they were able to hide before getting knocked off. Then I got the Oscars. Then I have some scarlet goldfish, a koi, a golden severum, and then that's a Jack Dempsey right there. That's hiding under that structure. Those are the big tigers. Sorry for all the guy. You sell snails? I'm going to, but my puffer's been wiping out my population to keep that little guy fed. I do feed my puffer other stuff. So, like I said, my goal is to get all these bigger fish out of this tank. I'll probably leave the plecos in here because I got a bunch of high fin plecos in here. Probably 4 or 5 anyways. No problem at all. I cleaned this 125 sponge filter today, so I just have the air turned down. I mean, this is a temporary solution I was talking about in the previous live stream. So, let me shut that. In some ways, I wish there was no door here, but then some of the streams I did a while back, I wouldn't have been able to do because my son. So, let's see. And it looks like that sponge filter is leaking out the bottom. But whatever. Hey, as long as it's moving air, I don't really care. I'm surprised these Oscars have not tried to go. And this is the thing I moved over here. It used to be over there, and that's the Marineland 220. Make sure that's still, yeah, it's still going. I know I got with this tank like way too over filtered, but I really don't care. Between the Fluval 406 right there, the 500 gallon per hour pond pump in here. You know, the other 40 gallon sponge filter, plus all this rock keeping, you know, beneficial bacteria and all that. So there's a good look at one of the high fins right there. And believe it or not, he's probably about 11 inches because from my thumb when I open it to my pinky is like 12 to 13. And let's see. I did put a convict in here, a couple of them, or 3 of them, and they got smoked. That's the only convict left, right there, in this tank, because these Africans killed it. Sorry for this tank. I really haven't done much with this in months. Hi, KG. Wow, that's a big fish. My aunt had an Oscar. They're $75 to $300. Oscars, believe it or not, when you go to sell them, if you sell them to a fish store, you're not even going to get close to that. No way. If you sell it to a hobbyist, you might get your money's worth. I mean, my big mama Oscar in here is easily 12 inches long. And it's got some serious girth on her. Come on, move, Molly. Sorry for the sound. I got that damn air pump is louder than the other air pump, the actually piston-driven one. So here's this tank. Not much special. There's some guppies. I gotta take some of this old filter media out. I used to throw this into this tank as like a catch-all. But I was actually thinking if I'm gonna leave this tote here, I might get some turtles, baby turtles, like diamondback terrapins or something small, and put them in this, because I have all the setup for a turtle tank, and this would keep some small turtles for a while. I know it's kind of got a lot of moam and stuff, but believe it or not, when I try to suck that stuff up, the water this turns black. I almost want to just dump all this water out of this tank and start fresh, but no, I'm good. I'll leave it. I mean, I got a lot of little guppies in here, so I'll leave them be. I mean, this was where I was getting my primary source of snails from, because they were pretty big in this tank. Now, I know there's some shrimp in here, so I don't want to mess around too much. They are in there. I saw them yesterday when I moved the tank, as they came to the top, because the bottom was sloshing around a little bit. And back to what I was going to do. I know I shouldn't be showing you all these tanks. This is my project tank for tomorrow morning, or later this morning when I actually get some sleep, or if I don't stay up the rest of the night. I'm going to be taking a lot of this Java moss and Naha grass out of here. I did scoop a decent amount of duckweed off the top of this and put it in the 125 earlier. But as you can see, the 125 is pretty clear on top. And I chalked that up to the goldfish, the 3 goldfish that are in here, 4 goldfish. Eating away. 54 Punchy says, hey, Kevin. Let me know if the stream's lagging, because I'm going to come back out here. These guys, so this is going to have to give me a second. I'm going to prop you guys up, because I'm just using a tripod right now, a handheld one. But I need to turn the light on, and this is kind of a process, because it's behind this 20 long. In a corner. It's kind of a mess. My whole place is still kind of a mess. It's a working in progress. There we go. So, let me show you that puffer. There, that is the Fahaka puffer right there. And believe it or not, I cleaned this sponge filter and that sponge filter over the last 2 weeks, and look at how dirty they are already. But I did do a huge cleaning this out. This Anubias, no joke. See where this sponge filter is? I took up from here to here. But I've cut it and put it in other tanks and stuff like that. And not that I want to get a bunch of duckweed. This used to be covered in duckweed, so light wasn't really getting in here. So I just want to clean all that stuff off. I might have to do, I'm going to do another water change to this tank later this morning, just because I want to get some more of the debris out of here, because I kicked up a lot of algae. This whole glass was covered in algae. You couldn't even see through it. Same with this. See how dark green that algae is right there? That's how it was on this side and this side. Probably because I didn't really have any fancy guppies in here, and I was feeding that big bastard in the back. I don't want to spook him, but no joke. His body goes from where you guys can see him right there to probably right here on the sponge filter. So I think he's like 6 inches long and probably, you know, about that fat, 2 fingers wide. So probably 2 or 3 inches wide at this point. At least 2.5. It's kind of hard to say. Let's see if I can't get this to focus. You can't really see him because I got a piece of algae on the glass right here. Believe me, I don't mind the algae. Just not on the viewing parts that I want. So I'll just do a little cleaning. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. I did suck a lot of this crap out of the tank. That's why if you notice the front, it looks pretty damn clean. But look at all that mulm and stuff that I still got to clean up. So that should be better. That's the sponge I use for my tanks. Now we really can't get because that heater's in the way. And he's being shy. Yeah, he's a Fahaka puffer, freshwater puffer. Second biggest one, it's under the Mabu puffer. I think he only gets to about 18 inches long in captivity, maybe slightly bigger. Somewhere between 16 and 18. But I figured he could finish his life out in a 125 or bigger, or even at the pond when I build one. But I got quite a ways away till he gets them. But I literally got that puffer, see the tip of my finger, when it was that big. And over the last 6 months, it's grown tripled or quadrupled in size. I know a 20 long is kind of small for him right now, but when he has this whole tank, I mean, this is, what, 13 inches wide right here, 36 inches long or something. So, I mean, he's got some places to explore. And when I clean the duckweed out and I feed him the snails, sometimes I catch the fry from the other tanks, like some of the fancy guppies. So he munches on some fancy guppies from time to time. He will actually, if he's really hungry, he will go after adult guppies, like the males and females. No problem, we'll wipe them out, like literally swallow them whole. Let's try and get trying to get a better look at him, but this camera keeps focusing on the wrong spot. I've got mixed messages about what kind of water they need. Hey, nice and big, yeah. I haven't read since I've gotten them, but I probably should read up because I saw that maybe later in life for their overall health and longevity, that you might want to kind of have a little bit more salt. Not quite a brackish tank, but on the way to it. So, you can see his face as the cove. Now that I've disturbed the whole tank, now I'm going to look for that last convict. And this side I really don't clean because I hardly come in here. Let me know if you guys see him. I know it's going to be a delay, but I don't see it. If it's one, I don't care. I'll eventually catch it when it gets big enough for me to really chase it down. Now, what I should do is add those 3 20-pound bags of stuff to this tank. That's really not going to stay there. I usually put a weight on it, or I put one of these things on it, one of the caves. Oh, it's probably going to come off anyways. I'll just leave it there, floating. Now, I can't cover up this rhizome because I think this is like a type of Anubias, and they said you can't really cover it per se, but I'm just trying to put the roots under it so it'll stay. But whatever. Whatever. What I should do is just try to super glue it in since the convicts are out of this tank. Yeah. We'll let one of the leaves take the hit for now. So half the time this thing just ends up floating anyways, so let's see. I think that looks better. Not the face I would give it, but yeah. Now that I got the lower part of my tripod all wet, I'm not worried about it. It's this foam. Alright, so besides the angelfish and the bala shock and the old clips, that's the last real things. Look at that. The male's out and frisky, it looks like. Good. I like to see that. Always these little nana petites. Where to put them? You know what? How about I just tip that up and push the roots inside that. Yeah. Perfect. There we go. Upside DIY says you can get a board and out on a bed frame or build some shelves. Yeah, that was my plan a while ago. My landlord, when he calls it his arts and crafts for his man cave and doing his kitchen, has a lot of scrap. Here, let me spin this around so you can see me. It's not so much the tanks anymore. Of course, the light, the overhead light. So my landlord is Gail. Let me have all the extra plywood and stuff. I just gotta get some of the 2x4s I put in storage, and I was gonna actually. Okay, let me flip this around and show you. See that stand way out there? That's actually a 40 breeder stand right there that has my microwave below the AC and stuff. I was actually going to take that and put that in this corner. And then I was going to build a stand just for the microwave, something small. So if I do that, then it'll free up some room because the 40 breeder stand will fit right here. And I could do a rack of 40s or something similar. And then I got these shelves. Like I said, that was going to be a pond, that blue one. I just got to talk to my landlord. I might move all the guppy, most of the fancy guppies outside. Has plenty of height. Yeah, plenty of height. Yeah. I mean, this stand is 6 feet tall. So, and each shelf can hold 1,000 pounds apiece. Don't mind the mess. Like I said, I'm still in the process of finished cleaning and everything. Now that everything's awake, I'll have to move this line. Let's see. These are the snail catching machines. Look at this, how thick this green hair algae moss is. But of course, when you have a 3,000 lumen or 4,400 lumen light, shop light over it, that's 5K, it helps grow. So let's see. Here's one of what looks like a snowball shrimp, or maybe even a cherry red shrimp that's really faint. And this is just a little 2 or 3 gallon Nook tank. I think it's 2 or 2.5. But most of the shrimp, look at that big guy right there. I won't be surprised if they breed back to their natural state, you know what I mean? Because I did put like 4 or 5 cherry red females in here, and like probably 4 or 5 males, and a couple blue velvets in here, and probably 4 or 5 snowball shrimp from Sergeant Tanks. Oh, I didn't turn this one on. Let's turn this one on. So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, honestly, the height and space, if I was to take this drop ceiling down to their floor up in like their kitchen or the bedrooms, is another 5 feet above this. So these are probably 8-foot ceilings with the drop ceiling. Above that is, no joke, probably 4 or 5 feet worth of space above that. It's an old house. I think the house is like 200 years old here. maybe 250 years old, or something like that. Or very close to that age anyways. How's the stream coming in? Is it starting to lag or anything? Because I'm out in the, kind of my living area. Oh, that's an FX4. Sorry, I thought whatever. FX6. So that FX4 is more than enough filtration. And then you get this big bastard right here, the Texas cichlid. Sorry for the glare. I know I got a bunch of stuff. That's a big guy. I've been tempted to move him back in the 125. Actually, I got 2 convict cichlids in there. Nope. So that Texas cichlid gotta be anyways 10 inches long. What do you guys think? Plenty of height space. Yes, you can practically run a fish store in your and sleep in the truck. I don't have a truck anymore. I have a van. I had to get rid of the truck. Too many issues with it. I had to downsize to an older van. So let's see. The Cove says, laugh out loud, there's no way I could do more than 3 tanks high. Yes, it's beautiful. You should get a metal detector and search your yard for oil coins in a house that old. Yeah, well, I know this was here because this is upstate New York. If not right at the Civil War time or Revolutionary, it was shortly after that. You know what I mean? I can't remember what my landlord says. It's at least very close to 200 or slightly over 200 years old. And there's not many houses you can say that are still around that are that age. So let's see. I gotta do more with this fish tank. I mean, you can see some of the rocks I got, right? And that's just stopping along the side of the road to get some, like river rock, cobblestone, whatever. I do have some more river rock under here, which, if I get ambitious enough over the short time, you can see the African cichlids digging or the Texas digging. I could fill up that whole back space of this 55. Maybe re-rock this, but if I'm going to re-rock, put more rock in here and get more stuff and more Africans in here, I'm going to have to pull this tank forward, which I can, so I can access it easier, because believe it or not, this is probably only 6 inches of space, and I got a metal cross beam right here, so I probably have to drain the tank down quite a bit to do that. And there we go. That looks like a big snowball or a red cherry shrimp. That's more white than anything. What do you guys think? They don't really have deep red colors, but there is the red coloring on it. Maybe they bred natural to where they're kind of more brownish. This I should add some more play stands too. Let's see. Let's see what other tanks I can show you. Oh, look at that. The convicts are actually being ballsy and coming out of hiding. You know, believe it or not, you wouldn't think a mix of Texas cichlids, a couple green severums, a gold severum, and a Jack Dempsey would be with goldfish, right? Cold water fish, but they seem to do alright. They stay out of the way. That's a koi right there with how long its fins are. It's gotta be. Maybe not. Maybe it's just that albino, that white one with the really long fins. Either that or it's an albino goldfish, which is possible. There's the Jack Dempsey, right? If I remember correctly, you guys can ID that when this camera, that black fish. It looked like a convict to me, but it kept beating up on all the other stuff. So that might be a Jack Dempsey. Pretty sure it is with its coloring. Sorry for the glare. I don't clean this half of the tank on the glass because You really can't view it with this big ass rack in the way. So what else to show you guys? Oh, there's that one little fancy guppy that's swimming around. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. I must have caught a little baby. For a second I thought that was swimming upside down. I'm like, that's not good. Sorry for the green glare, but you can see all that green hair algae. If anything, this would be the best tank for shrimp. All the hair algae and stuff like that. All the little stuff they could feed on in there. I might throw some shrimp in here and see if I can't get them going. And get that one little fancy guppy out of there. He's definitely a survivor because I hardly ever feed that tank. Smart little guy going south. But he just trapped himself too with all the hair algae. Thanks for jumping in. Question. Do I feed him to the Oscars? Or her to the Oscars? Or do I put it in a guppy tank? Rest well. Bye. Gotta go to bed. Have a blessed night, everyone. Same to you. Thank you, The Cove, for stopping in. Same was Upside DYI. I'm joking. I'm gonna put it in this guppy tank right here. There. That's done. Now I'll feel comfortable about moving some shrimp in there. And let's throw that back in between. You guys have any other questions for me? I know it's 3:04 in the morning, so. I got some cleaning to do with some of the other tanks still, but I moved a lot of stuff today. I don't know, if you guys don't have anything else with me and the chat's not moving, I don't know what's going on. Because I could easily set up the camera on one of these tanks and just go to bed. Not that I would want to do that and do a muted stream. Trying to be interactive with you guys, I just don't know. I need some stuff to talk about, some questions to be asked. That's the little super red found something. It's one of the chunks of food, probably from the top that I knocked around. Is El Tropico still here? Mr. Fish Tropic, Jason the man himself that wanted me to stream. When I fell asleep, he's the one that woke me up because the notification went off on my phone. Just before my phone died. How much is the pond? It depends. I was going to get the lining and build a 2x4 frame there. Over there. Because, I mean, you can see that lazy boy's pretty big. So that lazy boy's probably, what, 3.5 feet wide. Or 3 to 4 feet cubed, if you want to say. So, let me walk over here. Molly's not going to like me putting this thing up on her, but the cord. I purposely got a 15 or 16 foot cord so I could walk around my apartment. So right here from this wall, alright, don't mind the clothes and pinky floss and all the other stuff I have back there, like I said, cleaning. So right here to the front of this tank, I measured, I believe it's 52 inches, and I can come out 2.5 feet, and I figure I'll do a pond 2.5 feet tall. That's what I was looking at, the Rubbermaid cans. The ponds or whatever, because they got the 300 gallon, but that's way too big. I was looking at like the 150 or whatever pond, and I would put it here because that is, I want to say 24 or 26 inches wide, and I have like 28 from this wall to this trim because I want us to stay on the inside of this trim edge. And it stands 2 feet tall, if I remember correctly, at Tractor Supply, but I can't remember. I want to say 125 bucks, $150 for the 150, or I think it might be 120 or something like that. So if I did that, I would move probably the bulk of this fish and change this tank completely up. Make this a straight pleco only tank or something like that. Make this for a for-profit tank or something like that. That's what I'd like to do. And of course I wasn't prepared for this because I didn't realize I've been in this tank off and on throughout the whole day doing stuff. So gravel vacuuming. I know it doesn't look like it, but with all the tannins and stuff in the water, but I don't mind tannins in my fish tanks at all. I think it gives it a cool teak look. Buy strong rum, big cans, and just build a shelf over it. That's what I was gonna do, honestly. Same line of thinking. That's what I was talking about earlier. If I did this, but I'm trying to downsize stuff. I don't want to start expanding again and then have more tanks than I can handle, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be realistic because honestly, guys, you guys probably know, most of you know I'm separated from my wife. We've been separated for about 4 years. Yeah, let me flip this around. So me and my wife have been separated for like 4.5 years. So I think this year, this September, we're talking about finally being kaput, or finally stop being in limbo and get our butts on the move and get a divorce. It's not going to be it's going to be a non-contested divorce. So yeah, once that's done, I think I'm going to try and get my own place. Like, I know this isn't my own place, but actually a house. There's a lot of houses up here for 30-40 grand for sale, maybe 50, that I could get approved for a VA home loan. That's the stipulation. I want to go with the VA home loan to be safe. Let me put those things in before I forget. Let's put that back there. Every fish breeder wants to sell fish, but it's hard to find buyers. Well, with Get Gills, no joke, I didn't think stuff was going to happen, but when I got stuff straight, and within a week of me getting things straight, or 2 weeks, I had 2 or 3 orders in, but unfortunately I had family obligations to attend to and stuff. So, unfortunately I wasn't able to fulfill that stuff, and I didn't want to make the people wait, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know when I was going to be home next. So I canceled the orders and refunded the money. So I might try and do that and sell anything that I'm trying to get, like, not to be mean, but get out of my apartment, because eventually I'm going to have to move to a bigger place. So yeah, which is the bottom? That's the top. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff in the tank to just get it in there, so I don't forget about it. So let's see. Now I just gotta put these tops back on. Believe it or not, this tank does not drop, but maybe a ½ inch a week, if that. When I have these, like, not exactly cut to fit pieces on it, this plexiglass or whatever you want to call it, acrylic. Hold on. Let me set you guys on the bed so I can do things. Sorry if it's level and bouncing around making people sick. This LED back up. I'll check with you guys in the chat in a second. Just do this. No, it's not perfect, but it works for me. Oh, look at all that little fish food. Be right back, guys. I don't know if that added more glare or not. I just gotta get more plants in this tank. Let's see. Quantum Star Aquatics says, hi, let's see. Hi Fish Tropics says Quantum Star Aquatics. Hi Cove. How you doing, Melvin? Quantum's saying hi to New Englanders. Hi Captain Savage. Hi Mel. Says Jason. Upside DIY says hello. How's the stream? Is it lagging at all? Be honest with me, guys, because I want to know, because I'm in the bedroom where I'm closer to the actual Wi-Fi access point in my apartment. Well, I don't have a Wi-Fi access point here, but on the other side of this wall in the corner of the man cave, up high, about 6 or 8 feet up that way, amongst all the soundproofing in the man cave and all that, is the router on the floor, or up in his apartment on the floor. So that's what's going on. I'm trying to think. I don't like how this is looking towards the top, so. I'm gonna top this tank back off because I'm just being, I guess, anal, if you want to call it that. Just because I don't like to see the watermarks on the inside of the tank, because they cause glare. Of course, I know they just dried this glass off in here. I'm messing with the tank again. But when does a fish keeper not have their hands in the tank? I know people says, oh, you gotta keep your hands out of the tank. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. But you know what? Who cares? It's my tank. I'm gonna do what I want with it. It's not like I just wash my hands, and I make sure if I'm messing with the tanks, I rinse my hands off if I put any soap and water on them recently. Like 6 or 8 times. Upside DIY. If you're gonna build a plywood pond, make the whole a whole wall. Yeah, I'm not gonna do I'm not gonna make a plywood tank per se. I'm just gonna Where the heck did I put the thing? I'm just gonna buy the pond and. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. If I buy instead of buying the actual Rubbermaid container, I was just gonna get the pond lighting from like Amazon or whatever and get like a 10 by 10 sheet of it, or a 7 by 10 or something like that. Cut it down, and then I'll just staple the pond high, or screw the pond high in with like roofing nails on top to hold it, and then I'll around the frame of the tank. Let's see. Upside DIY says up to your stomach. What, the tank? Oh, what are you talking about? How you doing, Fish Tropic? I missed out on a free stainless steel 4-person tub. Went to the scrapyard, would have made a nice pond. Yeah, right? I've missed out on some deals too. I had some options to get some bigger tanks, but they were glass. But at the time I didn't want to take any more tanks on, but as you can see, guys, I'm kind of back at it, and hopefully I can stay motivated to keep making videos and keep out of my own head and stop with all my other stuff. The post-traumatic stress disorder and depression and anxiety and all that stuff. The fun stuff. That's good, New England Endler. No, it's not. I'm sure he wish he had the steel tank, though. I would love to have that. Like I said, I want to. I gotta just talk to my landlord. It might be a little late right now to do it, because it's already almost August. But that blue tub right there, that I think it's like a 23 gallon. I want to put that out on the porch, or probably out on the porch, because where my AC sits, on the other side of that wall, I got like 3 feet of space away from the door that I could put that on the corner of a porch and fill it up, and maybe I could put some fancy guppies, some shrimp, something in there. Put a bunch of plants that I really want to grow well, like maybe some anubias and java fern, maybe some java moss, naha grass. Just put a bunch of different plants and get some actual pond plants and put it in that big thing, because all that would need is like a 40 gallon sponge filter, which would be that one chilling right there, right? Would be easily more than enough to keep the water circulating. I got other sponge filters that I can use too. My main thing is keeping it shaded enough during the heat of the day. I know 23 gallons of water will take quite a few hours to warm up, but we've had some 95 degrees days here the last few days. And direct sun is not good for a tank like that. I mean, I don't care if it's green water. Fish do fine in green water. Probably can use a pond liner. That's what I was going to do. That was my plan. I was going to build a 2x4 frame or 2x6 frame on the bottom, and then do 2x4s or 4x4s. Probably as 2x4s because it's cheaper than a 4x4, and build the frame to hold it, like 3 main points where it'll be thick like a 4x4. I wouldn't even need that, or 2x4s in the middle based on the length, split, and then have the frame around it almost like that. I can't get there, but let me unplug you guys. Sorry about that for jolting around. So I know this is a mess, but this is a 40 gallon breeder build I did. It wasn't perfect. It was my first DIY project I did for the fish keeping hobby. Don't mind all that stuff. I got all the extra gravel and sand in there and extra dog food, but where was I going with this? So I'd probably have like a frame like this in the corner where it's 2x4s right there in each corner. So it's literally like a 6x4 construction, and then you got the 2x4s, and I had center bracings on the other side of those 2x4s. I have a very old video. I don't know if I uploaded it, but I do have it on my computer. Not the greatest quality when I was building it, from when I had an S3. So I think the cameras back then were only like 1 or 2 megapixels, if that. Which I could upload and show you the process that I did to build that stand from like, yeah. Or some wood. Where the blue recline chair is in the Oscar room. Get a kiddie pool, cheaper than tubs. Yep. Well, my thing is, if I'm gonna build this pond right here or get a pond or whatever I'm gonna do, I want it to be able to house turtles, house bigger things that need more water space. And based on my calculations, if I was to come to here, see where this two shelf oak stand bookshelf is, I would have it come to here and stop. That way I don't lose any space, because I'm used to this being kind of only like 24 or 26 inches wide. And if I'm not paying attention, I'll bang off. I mean, the thing, so it might only be 2 feet of space, right? I mean, if you guys can look, there's probably only 2 feet of space from here to that bow front. That's why, in a way, I wish this was just a 20 tall at some points. But look at this Java moss, how crazy it's growing, right? And that was when I last tore this thing down to literally here. And in 3 or 4 months, that's how much it's grown in this tank. Get a kiddie pool cheaper than tubs. Yep. I was thinking that, but look, I got that for a pond that I could put outside. I could actually use that when I do move. I was planning on using that to move the big fish. You know what I mean? When I eventually do move, because I think I only got about another year, at most 2 at this place. Because my son's getting bigger. He's 12 now, you know, and he's almost my shoulder height, and I'm 5'7". So he's gonna be a tall kid. I think I was supposed to honestly be 5'10", 5'11", or right up there. But my buddy, when I was younger, long story short, my buddy threw something out from a second floor, that like a big clothing bag. Didn't see that I was coming in the house because I was going on vacation. Going on vacation with his family down to the Cape for like 2 weeks, and we got to do some fishing and stuff. So I was going to help him pack up, and I ran to my parents' house, because I literally, no joke, from where I sit right here to my buddy's, to like probably that wall, you know, that closet door right there, was my buddy's house that I grew up with since I was like 5 or 6 years old. And here I'm now getting ready to turn 39, so I've known him that long. But we used to do everything, and I hopped over the fence, came back. He didn't realize I was coming up his stairway, and he threw the thing out from a second floor, like, slider window. Didn't see I was down there, and he cracked me in the head. I know. So, literally, I'm pretty sure it compressed the disc. I saw stars for, you know, a good while. Because the thing could have broke my neck, because that bag weighed 30 or 40 pounds when it hit me in the head when I was a kid. And that stopped my growth spurt that I was on. Because both my brothers are almost 6 feet tall. And here I'm only 5'7", and I think that just did enough damage to my head and my neck when I was a young kid to stop any growth spurt. Let's see. Upside DYI says, save up and put half down. Well, with the VA home loan, I don't have to put any down, because I'm a disabled veteran of a certain percentage. Or if I do, it's 2 or 3%. But if I only get a $30,000 or $40,000 house, what's 2 or 3% of that? You know, 2, 3, 4 grand, and I can borrow against my 401k retirement for first-time homeowner type loans. So. Quantum Star Aquatics says, I'm good, Captain. My family is here from San Antonio, Texas. My brother's kids. I will be here until the 25th of this month, I think, because school starts for them at the end of the month of August. Yep, that's same with my sister's kids. The last week of August, they start going back to school. Where up here, it's after Labor Day. How's the stream coming in? Is it coming in choppy or anything like that? Didn't mean to spook you, guy. And I will put this back where I usually leave it, right there by next to all the other icons. So you got the fish, hashtag fishfam, Mr. Fish Tropics, need that, let it snow. Then you got Sergeant Tanks, Aquarium Co-op, my aquarium box. I have a bunch of other stickers that I want to put. I'm probably going to put it right here on the shelf, because the stickers are like the 1x1s or the 2x2s. So that'll work even if it's a 3x3. I'm just going to line this right along the front. What do you guys think? Upside DYI says, I used to visit the Corsicana, Texas, Corsicana, Texas every summer. The house would have passed inspection. Doubtful you'll find one that'll be under 80K. Yeah, just VA home loans, they're really stringent. They send out the VA sends out an inspector, so you don't even have to pay money for it. Literally, if the paint inside on the walls is chipped, they won't approve the loan, home loan. That's how strict they are. And that's talking to realtors, like the couple realtors I've dealt with up here. So now, no joke, in my neighborhood in Saranac Lake where I live, my landlord told me they're trying to sell a house that's 2 houses down from where I currently live for 30 grand or something, 25 or 30 grand, but it needs a ton of work, like the roof needs work and all that stuff. So I'd probably be into it if I looked at that, probably for 60 or 70, and that's if the VA home loan would help me do that, you know what I mean? But that's a pretty big house. That's got to be a 4-bedroom house, which would be perfect. It's like probably the size of the house I'm in currently right now. But at the same time, it's just myself and my son, so I don't want to get into something too big where I can't afford the heat, you know? When you have your own home, it becomes more cost versus renting. Because my heat's included here, all that stuff. I got free Wi-Fi. Craziest. Oh, that's where it's leaking from. Look at that. Look at all that air pressure I'm losing from that valve. Why does that feel like that thing's gonna pop out? Hold on, guys. No, I'm not losing air pressure. I don't care if there's a slow leak, but that thing right there by that little valve plastic valve or whatever, was leaking a ton of air. Almost as much as was coming out of the sponge filter. Crazy. Oh, my phone's dying. No!